Hey, Freedom family. All right, so you've got a weekend coming up. You're planning to go away. You were so excited, but now it's just a couple of days out, and the excitement is turned to dread because suddenly it feels like you are not ready and all the fear is raging in. Today, we're going to talk about beach bodies, boredom while you're traveling. We're going to talk about buffets, all the things about holidays that can turn what we were looking forward to into a nightmare of triggers and fear around food and what we feel about our bodies and what we think other people think about our bodies. So in today's live at lunch, we're going to dive into that. I'm going to give you my 5-step mental prep list of all the things that I do and then I would encourage you to do before you go on any holiday. So maybe save this video or download it if you're a premium YouTube channel person, so that you've got it available for you the next time you go away for a weekend or a full-on vacation. It's going to be all same. For those of you who've just joined the channel or this is the first video you're seeing, welcome to the Freedom family. And for those of you back, great to have you. As always, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. That would be great. And more importantly, if you get value from this video and you're going to take some action, I'd love you to smash that like button. That is the first action you can take as your commitment to making sure that your weekends away are just filled with food, freedom, and all those good things. So let's dive in. If you don't know who I am, my name's Helen Bennett. I help people who struggle with losing control with food and body obsession, food obsession, compulsive overeating. I've got a lot of lived experience in this department. I don't need to go into the nitty-gritty, but trust me, I know the challenges. And there is nothing like a weekend away to invoke utter fear and dread, to the point in the past where I used to be so scared that I would start completely sabotaging my plans and find any way out of my plan for a holiday away. Or even just, I mean, this even applies just to going for an afternoon to do something. It used to be so scary to me. Staying at home just felt, even though being at home would almost inevitably lead to binge eating and all the rest, it was less scary than the thought of having my routine be out of whack. What if I don't have access to the food? What if I'm hungry and I don't get to eat? What will they think of me in my bikini? There was just so much going on that I used to just shut down and try and get out of weekends away or vacations, which is so sad. And the point of all of the work that I do as a coach and all of this stuff that I do online is to help you take action repeatedly and consistently over time so that you can get your life back. Because that's really what we get back when we do this work of learning to listen to our bodies again, starting to trust that they're giving us good information, and doing all the mental work that it takes to get ourselves out of old disordered thinking patterns, a lot of which got us into trouble with our bodies and with food in the first place, and into something much more freeing and relaxed where you can actually savor your life again, or maybe for the first time. So this is what we're going to dive in today. I've got 5 topics to chat about. The first is buffets. Or actually, let's just put it this way. The first is when you go away for the weekend, often there's an abundance of food, whether you've bought it or it's available to you at restaurants or buffets. That's a common one. Breakfast buffets, a lot of people's worst nightmare. And or whether you're just in a new place and you've visited before, or there's all these new tastes and smells, and a part of you just wants to have a bit of everything. And maybe a part of you knows that in the past, you've been somebody who's just even the thought of being near all that food or having it available to you or not available to you makes you want to binge. So actually, before we even get started, have you noticed that just thinking about the weekend away, worrying about what it might be like, has made you want to eat to escape that feeling? Or restrict heavily. I won't eat for 3 days because that way I can eat whatever I want on the weekend. Don't do that. What we want to do, and what you're going to do from now onwards, if you want to build this food freedom muscle, is starting to practice something new. So first things first, if you're freaking out just at the thought and you're noticing you want to eat, just at the fear, that's a great thing to notice. Fear and anxiety is something that maybe you've learned to soothe with food. Like, wow, this is good to know. Secondly, you can take a big breath. Let's take a big breath is incredible. It is so silly, and we don't do it. But one of the first things you can always do, if you can feel everything starting to spiral, is just take a breath. Just one breath. It slows everything down. It will actually slow your heart rate down. And it buys you just enough time to start to see the wood for the trees. So if you're ever feeling the fear, as we talk about this or as you think about the holiday coming, just take a breath and remind yourself you're going to be okay. Whatever work you put in today is going to pay dividends. And even if the weekends end up being a food disaster, it can only get better through repeated practice. And I'm sure you're going to have some wins based on what we're going to chat about today. So number one, buffets. How to mentally prepare for that abundance of food, all that availability that isn't usually available to you on a normal weekend or a normal weekday. If you have learned anything from me or done any work with me before, you'll know that one of the principles I teach people and that we train is the principle and the skill of radical permission, which means I'm allowed to eat whatever I want, whenever I want it, mentally. When we give ourselves permission, the energy of desire drops. Because here's what happens if we don't, and we all know this. The more we think we can't have something, the more we want it. So the fear is related to the level of scarcity or abundance. So when you know there's an abundance of food coming, it's fear that's driving the desire to eat it all, because you don't usually have access to all that food, and now it's going to be readily available. All that scarcity for all that time can create more desire. So the way to counteract that mentally is just to say, you know what? It's going to be a lot of food available. And if I choose to, will be able to eat that food. And I can have anything that I choose to have in that moment. Now, that may sound like it's not really helping, but trust me, the more you practice that, the more you know authentically and you begin to really feel this, that you don't have to worry. You'll be able to eat what you want when the time comes, in alignment with what your body asks for. And so when it comes to the time to eat, all you ever need to do is check in with your body and know that if your body really wants a waffle for breakfast, or if your body wants an omelet, or if it wants whatever, ice cream every day, then for this weekend away, you're going to give yourself permission to have it. But the key to this is it's ideally if it's in alignment with what your body really wants. And if you don't know what your body really wants, it's a skill to practice. It's going to take a lot of work. And if you want to get started on that, in the description of this live stream and in the replay is all the links you need. And the most important link that you can click on to start practicing this is to the Food Freedom Foundation's Masterclass. It comes with a training that teaches you how to start listening to your body. Because can you imagine if you arrive in the morning, there's just an abundance of food. You can literally have anything you want for breakfast. And there's a part of you thinking, oh my God, I just want to eat all of it, because it doesn't usually get all of that. And now that scarcity has driven all that desire. And now the food's available. The way to calm that energy down is just to remind yourself that you can have whatever your body asks for. And then you do a tummy check-in. Hey, tummy, what do you want this morning? What would be the perfect thing to just hit the spot and keep you really comfortable until lunchtime? Let's assume it's an all-inclusive. This is like some people's worst nightmare. I love them now. They used to be really scary for me. But let's assume you've got 3 meals a day planned. So all you have to do is tummy check for the next few hours. You're probably going to be busy. Maybe you'll be at the pool. Maybe you'll be out adventuring, exploring, whatever the case may be. And so that you'll be kept busy for the next 4 hours. And all you got to do is ask your body, hey, tummy, what would you like to be really comfortable until lunch? Now, you notice I use that word comfortable. It's really important because nobody ever wants to feel stuffed. And when you ask that brilliant question, and this is going to take a lot of practice, and you give yourself permission to have anything that your body's asking for that is available to you, you'll notice it gets pretty specific. It doesn't want all the food in the buffet to be comfortable. It's going to start thinking, oh, actually, what would be the perfect thing? Oh, yes, what would be just the right thing to and not make me too full, right? And then you'll get specific. And I think you'd be absolutely amazed how after a day or two of doing that, you notice that the things that you kind of wanted on the first day, maybe you do want a piece of, I don't know, apple tart at the end of your breakfast on the first day. But by day 2 or 3, and if you're staying longer, you'll see this gets easier and easier. It's kind of lost its energy because you know you can have it if you want it. But what else is available to you? Maybe today you want to try the scrambled eggs. Maybe today you want the hash browns, whatever. And listen to your body. And if you get it wrong and you eat a bit much, that's okay. Because remember, at the next meal, when you check in again, no matter what's available to you, just do the same thing again. And you won't be as hungry. So even if you kind of overdo it on the first day, and you're likely to, because all that food's available, and you might be a bit of a kid in a candy shop at first, but if you can stay present, really try and enjoy and savor your choices instead of reprimanding yourself for what you think you should or shouldn't be eating, allow it. The novelty does wear off. And the more you practice this on holiday, the more calm you feel when you arrive, no matter what food is available to you, and the more delight you will take in tasting and choosing foods that you don't ordinarily get to enjoy, and really delighting in them, knowing that the novelty will wear off. And you're just going to have to trust me on that one. It really works. You just take a deep breath and remind yourself, all you have to do is check in with your body. And I promise your body is not going to want to eat the same meal every day at breakfast. And you might be absolutely dumbfounded and amazed and excited when you discover your body wants something really healthy. That happens a lot. I actually had a client on this morning was talking about this exact thing and how she used to sort of eat all the cereals and the fruits but she has that at home. And then she went away and she realized, oh, actually what I feel like is omelet with mushrooms and ham and cheese. She doesn't get to eat that usually for breakfast. She really enjoys it. Now, that also happens to be a healthy choice. Awesome. Kept her satisfied, kept her full. She could move on with her day, and she really enjoyed it. And if she'd had omelets for a week, I'm sure she would have got bored and switched to something else. But it was lovely. It was in alignment with her body. So this takes a lot of practice. I'm not saying this is easy. But if you take all the skills and drills that I teach and you apply them on these weekends, your weekends will get easier and easier. And buffets are hard. You'll need to slow everything down and make a purposeful, intentional decision to check in and then do your best to actually honor what your body asks for. Remember, you're looking for comfort. You don't want to be overloaded. So your body will give you really good information here. And I think you'll be amazed that it's often choosing the things that you would have chosen in alignment with a more healthy option. But even if it doesn't and it wants cake for breakfast, have cake and see how it goes. I put money on it to be boring soon enough. And you'll be choosing something else. Okay. That was number 1, buffets. Number 2, beach bodies. I mean, okay, this is obviously we're assuming you're going away for a beach weekend or, fun and whatever weekend. But actually, whatever weekend we go away on, we tend to always think, oh God, what am I going to look like in my clothes? And here's the thing, 1 or 2 hours or days out, your body is where your body's going to be before your holiday. And the sooner you just take another deep breath and just remind yourself, your body is not likely to change in the next 2 days, nor does it need to. And if you want to really enjoy your weekend away, the best gift you can give yourself is just taking that moment to accept your body's where it's at. And your job now is to dress it beautifully, look after it. What's the word? Not indulge, pamper it. Just really allow yourself to get all the goodness from the weekend. And if that means that some people where you are judging your body, it is what it is. One of the hardest things we do in this work is get really skilled at acknowledging that some people are judging us, because I know I used to judge everybody else's body, including my own, for good and for bad, right? I'd admire some, dislike others. Everybody likes different bodies, but ultimately it doesn't matter because your body is where it is. And you can either have a great holiday, just allowing your body to be where it's at and dress it as well as you can, look after it as well as you can, pamper it for all that it's doing and trying to do every day, and do your best to just let go of the judgments of others. It is okay that they have them, even if they're negative, because those other people honestly do not know your journey. They don't know the work that you're doing. They don't know the struggles you've had. They don't know all the reasons you ended up compulsively eating in the first place, which spoiler alert, always pain and often sort of big and little t trauma usually starts this whole process to begin with. They don't know all the work that you've done and all the things that you've tried in the past to change. This might be the beginning of many, many weekends or holidays ahead where things just get better and better and better and better. And within a year, you might be having a much better holiday. In 2 years, it's just phenomenal to you how different your holidays have become. And by 5 years' time, weekends away are something you can't wait to do. You look forward to them. You do some quick mental checks before you leave to make sure you're letting go of all the headworms. And you go out there and you have a great time because that's what life's all about. And it would be such a shame if this weekend you look back on it in 10 years and wished you'd just been able to give yourself the gift of letting go of what other people think and just enjoy your body as best you can where it's at. Now, it's not to say you won't have negative thoughts about your body while you're away. Just see if you can let them go. It is you're at where you're at today. Just keep coming back to that. I did a whole video on this, I think, on Friday last week about giving yourself a body boss talk. It's just a really firm, kind, committed, accepting talk to yourself about where your body's at today and all the work you're doing consistently. And this is part of it, right? Showing up, getting that mental preparation ready so that wherever your body's at today is the body that you're going to have a fantastic weekend with. And what other people think of it, it may be hard to think about it, but it honestly doesn't matter. Because I don't know if you can remember all the people that were around you at the last holiday you had. You're probably more worried about your own body in that moment. So see if you can let it go. I know this takes practice. It takes a lot of work. But again, this is an opportunity to start. And every time you find yourself worrying about the judgment, just bring it back. You know what? I can't change what is today. I'm just going to enjoy this as best I can. Where it is where it's at. And I'm not going to hate myself. And I'm not going to ruin my holiday by thinking negatively about this body. It is what it is. I'm going to do my best to enjoy it. Right. Third one, boredom on the it's usually not so much the way there, right? It's usually on the way home. Travel is unbelievable. In fact, I should do a whole nother video just on travel. Because a lot of people find themselves eating either during travel or when they get home. So, you know what? Let's just acknowledge you're probably going to want to eat even though you're sitting down for a lot of the time. And in fact, in airplanes, I don't know about you, I get so tired when I travel, even though I'm not doing very much. And so instead of fighting that, given that's been my experience just about every single time, let's embrace it. And one of the things I've learned to do is because when I travel, there's generally not a lot of food that I actually really enjoy available to me. If I can, I try and make something before I leave. So I'll make a sandwich or something that I'm just really in the mood for that will be nourishing, make me feel good, and be the kind of food that I would enjoy. And if I can't, and it's not available to me, again, tummy check. I'll just do the best I can with what I have available to me while I'm traveling. But the best gift you can give yourself is the gift of mentally preparing that instead of thinking you're going to be perfect while you're traveling and you're not going to eat anything and you're going to have this magical new experience that you've not really had before, rather just allow for it and acknowledge that on Monday you might feel a bit groggy, a bit heavy, a bit ugh. But, before you know it, you'll be back in your old routines feeling good again. Rather embrace it and then prepare for it. And again, tummy check. What does my body want right now? Okay, what's available to me? Damn, they don't really have what I want. Is there anything close enough? Or maybe it's better to just wait a couple of hours and have a really nourishing meal when I get home. There's a fine line here between restriction and shooting on ourselves versus authentically wanting to eat something that makes us feel good. And that's why generally if we're traveling and we've got a little self-catering option, before our last day of travel, before we're heading back home, I'll just try and make us a couple of sandwiches to have in the car, on the plane, so that I'm not having to resort to food that doesn't make me feel good. You know what I mean? But everybody's different. And it depends where you are. If you've got access to really nice food where you are or in the airports or whatever, or on the roads, then you don't even have to worry about it. You can stop and get what you love. But oftentimes I find when I'm traveling, the access or the options are really limited. And usually they just make me feel more groggy. So if I can, I try and take what I can with me. But I don't always. And I just do my best. Speaking of which, that actually brings me to the fourth one, which is giving ourselves permission to indulge. What does that mean? In the next few days, or whether it's a bigger holiday, it's fine. Give yourself a permission slip, not to try and be perfect, but to actually allow yourself to indulge. That means you'll probably eat a bit more than you need. You probably have days where you don't move as much. And you probably, maybe, I don't know, you drink a bit more than you usually would, or whatever the case may be. Instead of shaming yourself for doing that, rather, that's what holidays are for. You're probably going to indulge. You'll indulge in more rest. You'll indulge in more play, whatever that might look like to you. You'll indulge in more food, probably. Maybe you'll indulge in some massage. You probably spend a bit more money than you usually do. That, my friends, is the delight of holidays if we allow it. I used to make a real mistake of thinking, I'm going to be so perfect on my holiday. I'm going to get up and I'm going to run every morning. And then I'm going to eat the perfect breakfast. And I'm going to feel so incredible. But actually, I was exhausted and I just wanted to relax. So permission slip number 1, indulge. You know what the consequences are going to be. Take responsibility for them. The great thing about indulgence, which means doing something for pleasure's sake, it's not a need. You don't need to eat an extra dessert. You don't need to maybe have a massage, but it's delightful. It's pleasurable. You don't need to sleep another 5 hours, but it's lovely. Enjoy it. And then on the other side of that, you probably feel a bit icky. When you've been on holiday for quite a while, and you kind of get in that feeling that there's sort of oil running through your veins, or you're just feeling a bit stagnant and you've lost the fitness that you had before you left, or whatever the case may be, and you actually authentically can't wait to start getting back to your own bed, your routines, your food that you generally enjoy. That's all they're waiting for you. So in the meantime, indulge. And on the other side of indulgence, you'll feel a bit ick. It'll take a few days to pass. Just take responsibility for it. That's the price, but it's well worth it, right? And then that way you don't have to feel all the guilt and the shame when you get back. You're just like, no, I knew this would feel a bit icky for a few days. Right, let's get back to my routines, get back to my exercise, get back to my glass of water in the morning, blah, blah, blah. Get back to all of those things. Within a few days, I'll feel good again. The last permission slip, so this is the 5th step, is give yourself permission to rest. I know it's holidays, and maybe it's even a holiday where you're doing a lot of exploring. But in between that, allow yourself that deep rest and relaxation. This is the one time where, particularly the clients that I work with, tend to be very busy, lots of to-dos, very high achieving, and can be very challenging to actually switch off, to actually put the phone down, to ignore the emails, to ignore the messages, to allow yourself, to give yourself permission not to be the perfect whatever with all the to-dos, and just rest. Do whatever you can to put those boundaries up before you leave. Let people know you won't be contactable. Let them know that in an emergency only should they get hold of you. And be very clear about that. Let all your family members know that you won't be phoning them this weekend, or you won't be visiting them. You don't have to. You're on holiday. It's time. And allow yourself to be present with whoever you're with, and really rest and relax and have fun. Let go. And that might be one of the most challenging things for you. And I bet that if that's true, food has become one way that you've been giving yourself permission to rest on a normal day-to-day basis. So if you find the thought of just letting go of your emails and actually really resting and not being too busy and doing too much really hard, that's probably a sign that it's important, and that's even more reason for you to try. It may be hard. It's fine. Just see if you can just try this weekend, just to get a little bit more restful, a little more present, a little more chilled. Let go a little more. Be a little bit messy. Be a little bit scruffy. Get up late. Miss breakfast. I know. I get it. I know. But this is where the magic happens, because you can get back to being all the things on the other side of your weekend away. And that rest that you give yourself will be the biggest gift. You will be so excited to see how, when you're able to get better at giving yourself deep rest, how powerful a rejuvenation and recovery thing that is for us. So that in the weeks to come, you actually can't wait to get back into your work, back into all the achieving, back into the to-dos, because you've actually allowed yourself this great gift of rest and fun and play. We all know athletes need to allow for rest as much as they allow for training. The two go hand in hand. It's the same with this gig. When we're working on anything, giving ourselves real rest time, permission to be lazy, AF. Give yourself that permission slip and get really good at it, because it's the best gift you can give yourself. And any work that you have lined up next week, you'll be way more focused, way more on point, including the work you're doing to change your relationship with food. Boom. So those are the 5 mental steps. Preparing for all the food, reminding yourself you can have what you want, just check in with your tummy first. Second one was letting go of whatever body stuff's coming up for you. It is where it is. Just allow yourself to enjoy your body as best as you can over that time. Let's not ruin it by worrying about what we think other people think about us, right? Number 3, prepare for the boredom or the discomfort of travel by, again, allowing yourself to eat while you travel, or preparing to have some food available to you that would make you feel better than what is available to you. Just take that extra few minutes. It's well worth it. And number 4, you're going to indulge. It's not going to feel that good on the other side of it. Enjoy it while it's there. And then, it'll take a couple of days for you to start to getting back into your rhythms again. No need for self-criticisms and self-flagellation, guilt and shame. It's a holiday. It's what it's there for. And number 5, give yourself a big fat permission slip to rest. It's a holiday. This is the time for letting go. You've got the rest of the year to try and be and do all the things. And that rest will actually help you be and do all those other things even better. And I bet you really, really need it. I bet you need a lot more than just one weekend. So do your best to get what you can while you're there. All right, lovelies. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you got value from it, smash the like button. Send me a little note in the comments to let me know if it all made sense, if you enjoyed, if you have any questions, if there's any specific part of your holidays or your traveling that you really struggle with, let me know. I'll do a video and I'll answer your questions as best I can. And other than that, I'll see you on Friday for a live. I'm looking forward to that one. The topic's going to be a lot of fun. And for those of you, if you or anybody you know struggling with bulimia, you can also join me on my other channel. The link is in the description. On a Friday, just after my live on this channel, I go into my other channel, Bulimia Freedom, and I'm going to be answering all those bulimia specific questions there. So if you have any questions about any of this, you can send them to me and I'll either answer them here or on that channel. Have a lovely day further, everybody. I hope you do have a weekend planned, and I hope you're starting to feel excited and ready for it, and that you really get to enjoy it. And if you do, I'd love you to let me know about it. And you can pop in the comments how it all went and what still needs work for the next time. All right, lovelies, have a wonderful Freedom Wednesday, and I'll see you on Friday.